So tell us a little bit about the firm just to kickstart.
Hello. So we're from sunny Essex. No one else? No? Okay. So Colchester, to be precise, just off the A12. There's two partner firms, that's Brendan and Peter. There's 7 of us in-house, use subcontractors as well. It's about 300 clients at the moment. The reason I'm here is Brendan and Peter suggested that we'd all write the entries for AVN, and I got nominated to come and speak. So we believe in keeping things as simple as possible. So our aim is to help businesses which are owned by families spend more time with each other. So because we kind of feel that, well, you can't get more time with everyone. So that's why we do it. The way we do that is we sit down, speak to clients, and find out what it is that they're why are they doing it. Once we know that, we then work with them to try and achieve it.
Fantastic. And the category, the entry category, asked you to provide some case studies. So I'm going to get you just to talk through a couple of those. So start with the Amanda and Paul case study.
So Amanda and Paul are in their mid-50s. Amanda's lovely, really gentle, polite. Paul's a northerner. So
is that enough said, is it?
So he doesn't take fools. He's lovely. But so their why, we found out pretty soon, their why. They'd always rented, partly through choice, but partly because they just couldn't afford to buy their own house. So they had a good business. They're on Sage, but we decided to move them to QuickBooks online. We gave Amanda a little bit of help, but she was a bit reluctant to start with, so she took up a 6-month support package with us. She didn't need it. She absolutely smashed the bookkeeping, which then allowed us to analyse the numbers much better. From that, we used our board meetings together to then show and educate Paul on the 3 different areas of the business. We basically stole that from Michael Gerber. So
that's why you gave it to us in the book and the video, yeah.
Exactly. So he loved it. We gave them both the book as well, which they loved. And because of that, then they started working on the business much more, which had a massive impact on it. So we looked at 2017's accounts to see what impact we'd made. And we went back 5 years, and we'd saved them 45 grand in tax. And they used that money to get the deposit to buy their house. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
Help them achieve.
Yeah, fabulous, fabulous. What about another of your case studies was about turning D-grade clients, or at least one D-grade client, into an A with, I think, 200% growth.
Yes.
Talk us through that.
So when I first joined, these guys, there's 3 of them, they were in a bit of trouble. So their debtors are about 500 grand. They're in VAT surcharge at 15%, so they were quite late. They were owed, the money they were owed as well was quite old. So, and it turned out they were doing the bookkeeping at weekends and in the evening. They all had young families, so it wasn't great. They were at the stage where they were kind of thinking, is it worth the effort? At that point, turnover was about £1 million. So I went to go and see them in London. Again, moved them to QuickBooks online. I gave them a bit of training and done the accounts as quickly as possible. What we discovered within the accounts was that the bookkeeping still wasn't helping them, so they were still in VAT surcharge, still owed a shed load of money. The cash in the bank was good, but it was obvious one customer not paying them would be a problem. So we put our heads together and came up with 3 different options. So we used Mark Wickersham, obviously, and gave them options on bookkeeping. So it started off basic stuff, and then the highest package was full-blown back office. We deal with everything. So they went for the full-blown back office, which was the highest fee we'd ever quoted in the entire history, I think, of the firm. They went with that. So to start with, we actually uncovered more problems because they were paying some of their team expenses without any receipts, and this was like a few grand's worth. They were still behind with debtors as well. So what we did is we started adding in more services. So we'd done an expenses policy for them, fixed that. We then started doing Zoom calls with them, almost like a board meeting. They worked brilliantly because then we found out what their why was. In the business, what they wanted to do was to establish something that would pay for their families, basically. So the way they wanted to do that was they had a key employee. They wanted to get him involved in the business and keep him effectively. So we helped with a restructure, which went through a couple of months ago. From that, they're now looking at commercial property in London, which hopefully should go through the next couple of months. So the irony is, I think we've just started to scratch the surface with these guys. So I think there's so much more.
All that potential in a client that had been there for a long time, and there is enormous potential in all of our fingertips, isn't there?
I think the thing with them is all they needed was a bit of time. So that's all we gave them. We just gave them a bit more time.
Yeah. In the interests of using our final time really well, why is that on the wall in your office?
So basically, as you come up the stairs in our office, that's what you're greeted with. And we were inspired by the Give a Million campaign that you did, so I came to the webinars, loved it. For anyone that doesn't know, B1G1 is buy one, give one. So the way we use this is after we've had a board meeting with clients, they come to the office, we give them a choice of which global goal they'd like us to donate to, and every single one loves it. And we do that, they get a gratitude certificate.
You take them out onto in front of it, explain what the goals are, which one you want us to support on your behalf.
They decide which one we donate to. So they love it, yeah. And we actually had a client who was a potential client, and she said that the deciding factor on coming to us was this.
Wow.
So it's good.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Fantastic. 1 minute to go. So what has all of this meant for you, and is there anything else you want to tell us about that we haven't covered?
Well, for us, I think we're now at the situation, a really good situation, where we actually work with people we love working with. That allows us to then explain why we're doing what we're doing, how we're going to do it for them, and what we're going to use to get there. It's that simple, really. I know it sounds corny, but that's as simple as it is. For me, I'm up here talking in front of you lot, which is amazing. And I know it wouldn't happen in other local firms near us. A lot of other firms wouldn't be doing this. I know they're not doing this. There's a lot of stuff we still want to do, but we kind of look at it as progress and not perfection. So it's never going to be perfect, but we're getting there.
Awesome, awesome. Well, unless there's anything else you want to say in your last 30 seconds?
Don't think so.
Rapturous applause then. Whoa! Whoa! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.